What's up, everybody? Welcome back. All day bad salad
That
shake
was
with
such
Manny,
a
Ruffin.
R.I.P. Knicks. What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
Yeah, it was.
It's
Not over yet. We have
fun.
much to discuss on the Pacers and the Knicks, as the Knicks are now down 3-1.
I think only
so
Kyle.
are the
I think only
Timberwolves.
Kyle could tell. Like, I think only Kyle's gonna get that joke.
Yeah.
Like, Kyle's probably the only person that listens like on a week-to-week basis frequently enough to tell. Like, you know, you coming with some gumption when the Knicks go up 2-0. The Celtics series. Welcome back, everybody. All day, every day.
Yeah, that was. I guess there was a little bit of.
Nah, I like it. It's real. It's real, bro. You're a real host.
I was disappointed. I was very disappointed in the Game 4 loss, as they now are down 3-1, and so are the Timberwolves. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, comment.
Bro.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.
We'll get into it
Podcasts
later,
and
but that was
Spotify as well.
that Game 4 from Tony Edwards.
Yeah.
Might be one of the most disappointing performances I've seen from a star in like a must-win situation. From a guy that gets... we'll get into it. You know,
It's been a large topic of discussion.
Oh, absolutely.
The Edmonton Oilers are 1 win away as well from going back to the Stanley Cup final. We might see the
rematch.
Same matchup if the Panthers find a way to win game number 5. That would be pretty interesting. I would be eager to figure out what the viewership would be. That's what I would be focused on.
I feel like it would be good for me.
Same or more or less?
I think more.
That's what I would think.
You had the documentary or movie or docuseries, whatever you want to call it. I think that heightens it too. But I think just as a casual, that series last year was so awesome for a series that was 3-0 at a point. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Even the games that led up to 3-0, like every game felt like, I think besides maybe game 1, if I remember specifically, like games 2 and 3, you felt like Edmonton could have easily won. I think there was an OT or 2 sprinkled in there. Didn't feel like a traditional 3-0 series. I think with the familiarity too, like there's other, like, you know, there's uncertainties with Dallas, uncertainties with Carolina from the casual standpoint. I think the casuals will come out for Florida versus Edmonton. I think they'll see that in droves, especially when there's some people questioning the aura, I'll say, of the impeding NBA finals. I emphatically disagree. I think from a basketball purist standpoint, it could be better, but I do understand what they're saying. Small market, 2 small market teams, you know, haven't seen these teams in the finals forever. I could understand. So you might see more people going over to the hockey tour. I wouldn't mind it. I'm gonna fuck with both, but yeah, I think it might go up. I think it actually might go up.
We will be taking a short break on the Race to 700 challenge as we.
All right, like it's actually so sad.
But like
we will be
it's
finding
okay.
a new game for you guys.
Yeah,
those
we will
who
be
enjoyed
finding
it.
a new game just to
all
clarify
200 of you, which is so cool with me.
Yeah, all 200.
That's
of you
fine. That
TikTok.
sounds fine when we say it out loud, though. It's cool. That's all right.
What we will say though is
that's a section of the link.
Manny did win on game 4 of the Knicks when he had Cat over 22.5, and he had the Yankees and the Angels. He had the Angels plus 1.5. Angels ended up covering in the 9th inning, so that was the plus 300.
Unbelievable.
So to kind of put the Race to 700 to bed for the time being, to have one of us advancing
we
to
were
plus
almost
400,
there. We were almost there.
that's something to think about, because if you do think about it, the NBA is coming to a close soon.
Yeah.
The NHL is coming to a close soon.
Yeah.
So then we're going to have to find 2 legs to reach plus 500, plus 600, plus 700.
And just baseball?
It's highly... I'm not going to say it's
That's
impossible.
when you start seeing me. I'm pulling out the Logan O'Happy home run, bro.
Like,
that's when you start seeing shit like that coming
I'm
out of
not
left
going to
field.
say it's
The Brandon Marsh home
impossible.
run shouts start coming out of left field for me.
It is definitely on the verge of impossible.
Absolutely.
But nothing is impossible. But just to put it out there, it will get much, much, much more difficult than
If you have
it
a
already
suggestion
has
for a
been.
new game we could run 2-3 times a week, drop it in the comments. We're all ears.
Yeah, we all
Definitely
are
looking
yours
for a
for a
new
new game. So let us know a new game. But we are putting the Race to 700. Too bad
We'll be
for the
back.
time
We
being.
might be back.
All right, to the Knicks and the Pacers, because there's
Oh,
much
man.
that needs to be spoken about in this series.
This is a safe space, Alex. You can let it all out.
And I'm going to. Like,
You have
at
the
the end of
floor.
the day, I'm not going to be the guy to say, you know, the refs this, the refs that, because I'm not that kind of guy. I'm really not.
Then don't do that.
And I'm
Don't
not
do that
doing
on
it.
this podcast.
I'm not going to
Don't
do
you
it.
dare do that on this podcast.
This is one of those occurrences where You have to just sit back and say, I was dead wrong, and the Pacers are just outplaying them. Like, they are just better than the Knicks. They're just, simply put, they are better. And the fact that the Knicks want to go on this and the fans want to go on this kind of parade of, what happened in Game 3 when you come back from down 20, and that's the third time that's happened. Do you know, like yes, that's so crazy to say. But do you know how insane it is to say that you had to force yourself to come back from down 20 3 times in the same postseason?
You gotta be pretty flawed.
You gotta be pretty flawed to find that out. And then Tibbs is getting a bunch of this too with, starting lineups, and you have OG
right out there.
and Cat and Brunson and Bridges and Hart as the leaders. They were -8, I believe, when they were out on the floor in Game 4, -8 or -10. Like, that's supposed to be your core 5, your starting 5. You're just getting beat by the Pacers, and you have to applaud Tyrese Haliburton in Game 4 because that was some of the craziest shit that I've ever seen. 15 assists, no turnovers, 5 threes, 30 points. He's making it look easy out there. The Knicks, again in the fourth quarter, made it seem like they were going to do it. Like, they really made it seem like it was going to happen. I'm not saying that this series is over because I do think that they can get Game 5. So let's just find a way.
Hey, we gotta. If it does go the way you're saying, we gotta go to New York twice.
Look. This is best case scenario. You get
that W Cope.
You win. You got to win 3 in a row, and 2 of them are at MSG. Game 1 is gonna haunt the New York Knicks for a eternity,
bro. So I watched that game back a couple days ago. Watched that game back in its entirety on my board, basketball nerd shit. And the only thing I could think watching that game was I completely lost track of how in control the Knicks were of that game. From the basketball being played on the court to the vibe being set in the series. I mean, everyone was at that Game 1. The energy was through the roof. The people courtside, the players on the bench, the Pacers looked like they were still hooping, but kind of, oh shit, this was like when they fully healthy. And it's not Julius Randle that's out, and it's Cat that's it. This is what, for about 3 quarters and more, it looked like that. And this is my question to you before I get into what I think is going on to the series. Nesmith makes a 3 before the barrage. He had a 3 before that, but he makes a 3 with about 3 minutes left in Game 1. I remember watching this vividly. And I was like, wow. And they were down about 13, 14. And I was like, wow, this is what started the barrage. And the Knicks are still scoring baskets and they keep trading. But if you watch the game back, Nesmith starts getting off quietly, gets to the line a couple times, finds a corner 3. Then the barrage happens out of nowhere. And it felt like one of the biggest haymakers. The Pacers have done that a couple times to the Bucks. They've done it to the Cavs where they go on these crazy runs. But that barrage, I felt like, left the Knicks in a stunned daze to where you had the snowball that goes into Game 2. Then you're going into Indy down 2-1. I feel like the series almost was, I'm not going to say over before it started, but the Knicks almost went down 2-0 after they lost in OT after Game 1. I feel like that haymaker that was thrown by Nesmith, the shot that was made by Haliburton and following up an OT, deflates you so much that it took away New York's biggest advantage in the series, which was the fact that we could literally set the tone in New York Games 1 and 2. Game 2 became the Pacers game, vibe, tone, pace,
so quick,
everything. And how it got into the Pacers' hand now with their playing at this high pace, they weren't doing that in Game 1 as comfortably. Like you saw it in Game 5 or Game 4, Tyrese Haliburton's getting the ball, and there's even Knicks ready to go back on defense. He's still beating them up the floor. He's throwing up to Pascal Siakam. They're playing with so much confidence. Obi Toppin's getting off. Benedict Mathurin was a non-factor throughout the series. You give him space now and room to feel comfortable at home where he can get off, and now he can get back to being a 17-point-per-game guy. That Nesmith run is so legendary, so rare, and so insane that it's cliche saying it could have won the series, but obviously just when I watched the game 1 back and just seeing how much control that the Knicks actually had, just mind-blowing how much that changed the series. Jalen Brunson looked like he was getting off. Cat looked like he was primed for a prime series. OG and Nubi in that game, I mean, he's still having a good series, but you were just seeing like what the Knicks X factors could be. And I was like, all it took was 2 minutes from Nesmith. And it just sent a right hook to the jaw. led into game 2, and now you're going Indy down 2-0. Obviously, they got the 2-1, but it puts you in such a shit position. I was mind blown watching that game 1 back. I was like, wow, like the Knicks were actually in a position to not run away with the series, but set the tone and stamp it really early.
It was one of those things where you guys almost blew it from the jump. I mean, it was 20 points. And then even worse, it was 9 points with 52 seconds remaining. Yeah. You have to find a way to win that game. I mean, that is just a problem.
And I don't want to put too much weight on the Cat free throw, but watching the game back and Cat missing that free throw, 90% free throw shooter. He missed a couple last night when I was sweating a bet. But I was just like, wow, like the shit that had to go wrong, and this is the one game. Rick Carlisle's challenges, like that was a really fun game to go back to. But in totality, I'm watching the series, and I don't even think it's a good matchup for the Knicks. Like I think what makes this incoming finals matchup, which we've already seen 3-1 comebacks in the Western Conference Finals, so I'm not gonna write it off. But what I think is gonna be, the Knicks have decent, if you're an ISO guy, if you're gonna play like James Harden, if you're gonna even play like Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG. They can guard stuff like that. We've even seen Mitch slide his feet in some possessions pretty well, which is why I think you guys could guard the Celtics pretty good. Which is why even the game that Tatum got hurt, you guys were in control up by, I think it was 14. Looked like you guys were going to win that game. I think it might have been even more. I think it might have been 20 guys were up, and you guys were going to win that game. There was more ISO players going on. Mikal Bridges is a lot better at sliding side to side with a guy. OG's a lot better using his strength, sliding side to side with a guy who wants to just go back and forth and break it down with a bunch of dribbles. The Pacers don't play like that. They get into their secondary break. They pass the ball up 30 feet. They're into an action. Someone's coming off a curl. They're swinging it. You're helping. That guy's breaking down off the dribble. He can shoot as well. They can go inside out with Paskey. They can run a guard big screen with Miles Turner. And if you drop in coverage, then Miles Turner might pull that bitch. And you have to just he might not make it every time, but you have to guard him. That just wears I'm watching Cat in this game. I'm watching Jalen Brunson because they're targeting those guys on defense end kind of. They're getting just worn down. And then on top of that, how they play offense, I was not as much ISO. Your guys you wanted for defense, OG and Mikal, are almost made obsolete in these defensive possessions because they're in help. And then there's tagging guys. They're like it's not that straight up ISO defense that they have to run. On top of that, it makes their life hell on offense because every time that Tyrese Halliburton gets Jalen Brunson, he's going. But they're putting Jalen Brunson in a lot of action. And then every single time Brunson gets the ball on the inbound, Nesmith, Ben Shepherd, all up in his grill, 80, 94 feet every single time. There was a point.
Body on body.
It was like second quarter. They had to run a double brush screen at half court for Jalen Brunson to get free, and they called a foul on Nesmith, which really wasn't even a foul. It looked like a foul. I understand they call a foul, but it really wasn't even a foul. That is how hard it was for him to get over half court. Then they had to go and deal with this. Like it's a resemblance of the Steve Nash 7 seconds or less X offense. I mean, it was Tim Legler was on with SVP, and the first, it's bad when you go into a film room with the coach or just when Tim Legler, like a guy that has that much basketball knowledge, and they want to break down a game in clips, and they go to when it was 6-5. And it was the play I was talking about. Halliburton gets the ball. There's 4 Knicks getting ready to go back in transition, and he beats him down with the pass. The pass goes to Siakam one-on-one with Cat, and it's just wearing them down. Possession. Like, they're doing that after made baskets on free throws. Like, that's supposed to be a prime time where you draw up a play. And I don't think the Knicks have the guys on defense to be able to slow down Hallie in the full court. Because that's the difference. That's what I would see OKC having something they could. Case and Wallace is going to pick you up 94 feet. Jalen Williams is going to pick you up 94 feet. Caruso is going to pick you up 94 feet. They can even. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was a plus defensive rated player. For a player of his offensive caliber, was very rare. He can pick you up at half court and play good defense. The Knicks don't have multiple guys that can play that style of defense. They can sit down in the half court and stop the ISO game, which is why I think the Celtics were a great matchup. This, not so much. And I think it's getting exposed on top of, I hate, it's a dead horse, Trojan horse, the Tibbs minutes thing. But you have a guy who plays the starters this many minutes versus a team who plays those this deep, plays this fast, has so many guys that can attack you. It is so tiring. I've played teams like this across my basketball career where they just have 5 guys, really 4, just Miles Turner sometimes, but they can all make shots, but they can all put the ball on the ground. So you have to close out hard, then that guy can just go past you. You don't even feel complete. Like, we didn't even get, bro, Benedict Mathurin had 15 points through 5 games. This guy averages 17 points. He's such a big factor to why they're so good. This was a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter. If Benedict Mathurin doesn't have the game that he has, it's 2-2 New York, and now the tone of this podcast is like the New York Knicks are probably going to the finals. They have so many guys that can come at you. Like, Nembhard had a game. Pascal Siakam obviously had a game last night, but he has multiple games. Toppin has had his game 1. They have so many guys that can throw at you, and you're the Knicks team that really relies on 6 guys. Really 5. It's just such a terrible matchup, and it's heartbreaking for the Knicks because after I was even part of it after they beat the Celtics, I'm like, wow, the Knicks are about to go to the finals. And you forget the rival that is almost the worst matchup possible. I hate to sound like that I'm coping, but it is.
Well, it also goes for the future. We can have more of this conversation if the Knicks are knocked out, but the Pistons aren't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Magic are on the come up, and they're not going anywhere. We know what the Cavs are, know what the Celtics are. A lot of guys probably want to pay for the Pacers. The Sixers are not getting mentioned.
There we go.
There's 5 teams right there that are there confidently, or you could say 3 of them, and then 2 of them are confidently on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Where do the Knicks fall into that? It's not like this was like, this is the year.
Oh, brother, I think.
But you go back to the conversations of when the Knicks got Mikal Bridges, and everybody said, you're selling the future, you're selling the future, you're selling the future. If the Knicks are knocked out here, and we fast forward to a year later where they're knocked out in the first round or something, or they don't make the playoffs, or they lose in a play-in, I don't know. Maybe you can say you were somewhat right, but I just think the teams around them are going to continue getting a lot better, and the Knicks are almost like at a peak in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having more conversations about, is Tom Thibodeau now the guy? Is he gone after this? Did he find a way to essentially, coach his way out of a job because of, the different schemes that he brought up?
I mean, I'm
the
not
different
just
rosters that he put on.
I'm not just saying this because I had a bet on Cat, but that offense not being ran through Cat almost completely in the third and fourth quarter. I've said it time and time again. Jalen Brunson is incredible. Their habits to go to Brunson ball down the stretch with that many guys. Like, Mikal's making shots in the fourth.
They did draw up every last possession when they were trying to make threes. There was a point
Cat was 8 for 10.
And then late in the game, they were running the plays. There was 4 straight possessions where they were ran through Mikal Bridges because they wanted him to make the 3. And after the fucking third one, okay, try something else.
But this should be a stat. This should not. I just feel like the Knicks should be the slower version offensively of the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Not the Knicks primarily are always bottom 5 in pace, but you can run an offense that has a lot of motion, that has a lot of guys attacking you, and you can get into your action at 16 seconds in the shot clock. It's not far-fetched. I'm so sad. I hate that. I think I'm gonna hear about this year a lot on 12th holes and par 3s after a couple Millers that the 2024 Knicks. We're never going to get a chance like that ever again. The Celtics got knocked out. The Cavs got taken care of by somebody else. Joel Embiid was down. It just felt like the year, brother. It just felt like it can still happen. We're seeing weirder shit.
The Knicks are
we're seeing weirder shit.
5-point favorites in Game 5 back at MSG.
That's encouraging.
You cannot lose all 3 games in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Will you be taking the? Are you? Let's see the series prices. Let's do it. Let's see how. Are you built?
The Knicks are plus 440.
Are you built? Will you be putting in a wager?
Games in their home building.
Will you be placing a wager?
Here's the deal. You win Game 5, and you then put more pressure, just like it was in Game 4, back on the Indiana Pacers to do it at home.
And more money on the Knicks to win the series if you do win that game, I feel like.
And then you go in there, and you go back to Indiana, and you find a way to get the job
done. So you have a chance to have a nice little ride. Are you signing up?
I think I'm signing up for the plus 440.
I think you have to sign up,
because I don't know if you can. I mean, I think it's possible to win Game 6 in Indiana, but I'm a firm believer right now that this team is not going to lose all 3 games at home. It's just not going to happen.
Let's see. Okay, Game 6 in Indiana right now sounds extremely daunting, but so. Game 4 was the main, win or go home kind of game. You feel like whoever won that game won the series. But really, that 2-0 game in a position to get swept. You've seen, you guys can win a game in Indiana with your back against the wall. It's not something you guys cannot do. I referenced the Neesmith haymaker. Who's to say that MSG is not going to be rocking? Knicks go on a run, win that game. You guys win that game by 20 or something like that. Remember how the Cavs came back? They beat the Warriors by like 30 in one of them games. Started momentum. Came back game 6. Draymond's fucking up. Now, a whole different series. It really only takes, I hate to be the guy that, I think the Pacers are going to win the series. It really only takes one, and you have MSG, and you have 2 games at MSG. So then you get a game. Let's say you guys win the game by 20. We know, it goes without saying, but those guys walking into Indiana, Jalen Brunson, Cat, Josh Hart, gosh, we got to just get back to MSG. You know what I'm saying? Then it becomes that. I think it's over personally, but from a subjective standpoint, this series is actually far from over, to be honest. I think it's far from over. I just think it's such a bad defensive matchup that they'll end up getting y'all. But it is. It really is. Basketball is one of them sports, and we've seen weirder things, bro. We've seen with greater players.
One game, it starts with game 5, and it starts with the plus 440 series betting.
What's the spread? Like, can you get 1.5 at plus money?
Plus 1.5 is plus 240.
I mean, come on. I would be taking that too. Yeah, bro.
Really, though?
Yeah.
That means you gotta force game 7.
Okay, yeah. But you get a little bit of insurance. Then you're looking at, if you now it becomes that game in Indiana becomes a money-making game for you.
True.
You feel me? Instead of obviously you're thinking you're going to be making money if you do win in Indiana and go home for that game 7. But now that now it becomes almost a more fun sweat because that game 6 in Indiana literally becomes a money-making game. Then you just you're going to be hammering them anyway. Right. But, oh, my God, Knicks going to be what? Plus 3, plus 2.5? Put a little money on that. You got that right. Oh, you got a chance to have a nice little fellow ride.
That is a smart way of doing it. It's not. It's far-fetched, but it's not far-fetched. Win game 5, get them back to Indiana, and then you go in there and you just find a way to get back home. And then you somehow
get me back to New York.
Have rallied everybody in the city to game 7. If they get to a game 7.
Has Jalen Brunson had his moment, his clutch player of the year moment in this series?
If they get to game 7, what day is that? Is that Monday? That's Monday.
No way we were scheduling the OKC game to be on Sunday, man.
Damn it, because I was going to say I want to find a way to get to that watch party.
Facts, that'd be crazy.
Because the city might burn down. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. One game at a time, game 5.
Absolutely.
And let's get to game 6.
Absolutely.
On the Oklahoma City Thunder, and more importantly, the Minnesota Timberwolves and their star Anthony Edwards, he's been a large topic of discussion for the game 4 loss. Now, Julius Randle should also be getting a lot of that projection as well.
He's been a whole different guy.
Yeah.
I'm just so confused because I think my Lakers would be here if he didn't decide to be that kind of guy. But we won't go back in the past.
We won't go back in the past. Anthony Edwards now, after a disappointing game 4 where he rarely shot the ball, when a lot of the talk was you have to be the guy. And he was out there like he wasn't the guy, but then said that he doesn't really need to change anything, and that, I felt like my reads were right. Well, if you're the guy, we need you to actually be the guy. I'd like to see the Timberwolves win game 5. I really would, just to put some more.
God.
I know that's very ugly.
That's
minus 7,000 for the Thunder to win the series, but just put some more pressure on the Thunder. It's not over, but it is. And when you look at the spread tonight, it's 8.5 points. I probably will be taking the plus 8.5 in game 5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is similar to what it was. I think it was 7.5 when they stole one from them in that blowout. 40 point, up by 42 at one point. That's what it was. It was like plus 7.5. Do you really feel like Anthony Edwards is going to go down without a fight?
Well,
I think plus 8.5 is the bet of the night.
Thank God. I would have a lot more mean things to say about Tony if he didn't cash my assist bet in that last game. But even in that, it took 6. It took 2 in the fourth quarter. 1 like a minute left to get that cash. You would think if he's having a game, if he's struggling shooting, you should have laddered the assist. I said it already, but I personally think that was one of the most disappointing games I've seen from a star in a must-win game at home. You took 2 shots at half? Anyone that took Anthony Edwards total points over, you did not make a bad bet. Given the situation, even the games he was having in the series, I'm pretty sure the game before that, game 3, I think he had 28, 29, but he didn't shoot that particularly well. But he did make an emphasis to at least attack, and you saw him getting downhill. Game 4, he looked pedestrian. I've never seen Ant. Ant's the most, we've already written him. Obviously, people want to put him in face of the league, but seeing what he did last year, we saw him as a guy that if he goes out, he's going 10 for 30. We're never going to see Ant not put up at least 35 shots in a situation like this. First half with 2 shots was unbelievable. And the part of it that hurt the most was they had, I don't want to say control of the game. They had like 14 to 13 turnovers in the first half. And they were up, I think, or down by 6. I think they were down by 6 at half. But there were plenty of points in that first half. They were up. The whole supporting cast was playing well. Nikhil Alexander-Walker's getting buckets. Everyone's getting the whole support. Top even Chet was making shots. And I feel like the entire time, everyone's looking around, including everyone watching, is like, all right, we're buying Ant time. Like, when is he going to get off? And it just never I've never seen something like that from a star. And it's extremely heartbreaking for Minnesota fans and just the team in general, because you kind of played bad. Like, they had 20 turnovers. I've never seen a game be this close with 20 turnovers. You would just think automatically this game's going to be lost by 40 points. Just how they won by 40 points, you think it'd be the inverse. But Jalen Williams plays out of his mind. I don't want to say out of his mind because he's that kind of player, but has a tremendous game on both sides of the floor. SGA has a 49-10 game that is barely getting talked about. He was phenomenal. Every single time he comes down the floor, you feel like he's getting to that mid-range. He's making it, going in. Richard Jefferson's had plenty of times. He's making that shot half the time. It feels like a layup. And they're in the game. Ant's pedestrian. They're in the game. It's just, I've never seen, so I can't wrap my mind. I have to go back and watch this game because how are they still in this game? I know Dante was making huge shots. I know Nikhil Alexander-Walker was playing out of his mind. It just doesn't make sense to me. And at no point Ant gets the cue that I have to kill now. Like, at no point that went off. In the second half, he started going a little bit. He ended up having, I think it was 16. But it was that did not tell the tale about how, I'm sorry, I love Ant. It didn't tell the tale about how bad he played. 13 shots? I need that in the first half. Like, what? It was the most unbelievable thing I've seen. And for a guy, I mean, we see him in press conferences laughing at the box score with Julius and pointing at his turnovers or his shots or whatever, his 3-point numbers, and laughing at it. You put up 13 shots, 2 in the first half. Like, it was one of the most head-scratching, unbelievable things I've ever seen. And if you took Anthony Edwards points over, I'm sorry. I thank God I had the assist in one of the best covers of all time, Timberwolves +3. You said you were taking Timberwolves tonight at +8.5. Them cashing that +3 in that game told me to get the fuck out. I think just get the fuck out, because there's no way they covered that game playing that bad. And somehow through the foul game at the end of the game, which segues me to a question I want to ask you now, that they ended up cashing the +3. I'm out on the Timberwolves. If they end up winning tonight or cashing the spread, good for you. More money I could have made. But watching Ant do that, it was just, I can't with money on the line. With the end of this game though, they did have a chance to win the game. And then the foul game happened with about 55 seconds left, 40 seconds left, early. And selfishly, as a fan, you just want to see the climactic ending. You want to see Anthony Edwards take a shot and him just make it or miss it. Or you want to see the game get tied and SGA come down, take a mid-range, and make it miss it. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's fair? Not fair, but do you like watching the foul game? Do you think it's something that is, just belongs? Because people will say, if you put yourself in position in a 48-minute game to be up, you should be able to control the narrative at the end of the game. It's hard to say they're wrong. But you all kind of want to see the shot. So I want to know what your opinions are about that.
Everybody wants to see the shot because, we've just, back out the...
It was 48 minutes of good basketball.
Everybody wants to see the shot. And I get that from a fan perspective. But at the same time, I don't really understand it because, what are these guys trying to do? You play to win the game.
I wish we had that fucking thing on the soundboard.
So,
I wish we had that fucking thing.
I think it's very simple. If you put yourself in that situation, you don't want them getting 3 points, and you have guys that can give the fouls every day of the week because then
that's also
you
a
force
point.
them
That's
to
also a
not
point.
get a 3.
Because what if Jalen Brunson has 5 fouls? Cat has 4 or 5 fouls, and you have a guy that can't. I do see your point there. I understand. I feel like too, but also as a basketball purist, I do understand. Like you worked your ass off for 47 minutes and 30 seconds to be up by 4
I get
points.
it. Look,
so I
get it.
should be able to completely control this narrative at the end of the game. There's only so much I can do. I can finally control something in this game to put myself in position to win. I do get it. But games like that, you're just like, how was it ending like this? So like, I'm almost gonna go to sleep.
And like,
how was it ending this way?
I mean, we did have the Halliburton like tie.
Yep.
We also had the Aaron Gordon dunk at the buzzer.
Yep.
Like, so it's not like it's completely shutting out those big time moments.
Yeah, that is true.
We're not seeing
You've
as
seen it like 4 or
many
5
of them,
times this postseason.
but like we have seen a good amount of them where it's still like those moments will still happen. I just would say if I'm a team that busted ass all game to put ourselves in a situation to win, and then we lose on a 3, when we could have fouled, it's like, so wait, why aren't we just gonna do that every single time? Like, and I understand that fans don't like it, but at the same time, they're playing to win. So like, jobs are literally at stake. If you give up a 3 and you lose, but you can give a foul so they can shoot 2 and have no absolute chance of getting 3 points on that possession, I don't see why that's not the answer every single time down the stretch.
So let me ask you my follow-up question now. This is the interesting part. So I was listening to the All NBA podcast, listen to it every week. Shout out to Tim Legler, fucking man, best NBA podcast right now, for sure, hands down. So he said at his basketball camp, since there's like a time constraint, he doesn't want to be there all night. You know, there's championship Fridays and all that. So he says in his leagues or his camps, when they have a tie and the game's gonna go to OT, what he does is he lines up everyone at half court. Coaches get to pick their best free throw shooter. You go to the line. It's sudden death. First guy makes it. Second guy has to answer. Second guy misses it. It's done. Just like a soccer PK. He said that he's actually sending multiple emails to the NBA about getting this rule proposed in if you want to talk about like speed of the game and stuff like that. And I was like, that is a awesome idea.
Well, you like that because you like soccer, too.
I love soccer. OT, let's line it up. Let's do PKs in the arena. Home court advantage becomes so much more crazy. I mean, it's already great, but imagine Minnesota. Imagine MSG in game 1. After doing the choke sign, and they probably pick Hallie. And he has to go first because he's away to shoot that free throw. You would see a lot of stars miss that. We've seen Chet choke already in the playoffs with it. Imagine when it's no one at the line because it's different. Anyone who shot a technical free throw in a gym that was popping, a lot of noise, then you have to go shoot a tech. No one's at the line. You're not shaking anyone's hands. You're not talking about who has who. Because when you're shooting free throws, especially at a high level, like that almost becomes part of your routine. You'll see guys who get to the line. They can't get to the line without turning around. All right, you got 14. Say no more. All right, we're in 55 after that. Okay, got get the ball. Boom, talk to coach real quick. It's all like you just feel comfortable doing that. Now it's no one talking to you. No one dap you up saying, mate, you got this. You know what I mean? Knock it down. No one talking to you. Just the dribble there. And the crowd is probably going to be going fucking listic. And the celebrations following it are probably insane. And just imagine, like, he didn't go into like the full in-depth about the idea, but I kind of had an idea. Okay, I think you reserve it for 5 shooters. So you don't have to do your starters, but you can elect your 5 best shooters in order. After we go through 5 times, people will say, oh, can you just choose someone off the bench or someone? I'm like, nah, because what if you pick someone who hasn't played in a while? Yeah, I think it's a little fucked up. Then you go back and you do 2 shots. And if the first guy goes 1 for 2, second guy goes 2 for 2, I think it would be, I absolutely love the idea. I don't think it would ever pass because OT's great. OT's fine. It's almost like hockey OT where it's like, you know, we want to see you guys play actual hockey to get this thing finished out. But I thought that was a great idea when I listened to it. And I was personally like, sign me up. If we can do this in like the regular season or the in-season tournament to try it out and test it out.
Oh, the in-season tournament.
I think it would be, I think it's just an absolutely sick idea to see these guys in that pressure situation. I thought it would be awesome.
That is pretty interesting. I didn't really think about it like that.
Yeah, try it in the IST. See what goes on. I think it would be sick, bro. Oh, my God.
Now, the home
Mitchell
crowd,
Robinson at the line.
He was 2 of 2 last night.
After Miles Turner misses, he can send the Knicks to the finals. Free throw at MS. Oh, I could just sign me up. Sign me up.
I really like that idea.
Forget OT. I'm good.
That is something that home court advantage would be.
Oh my God.
The craziest thing we would ever see
Oh
in
my
a
God.
basketball game.
Oh my goodness.
One shot.
I mean, the Knicks. I'm not gonna say Knicks probably win game 1, but
I mean, well, if you didn't blow a 9-point lead with 50 seconds on the clock, then you also win game 1, and it's 2-2.
Someone just
going back to MSG where they control the series.
Yeah, I'll probably get dragged for that. It's probably not a basketball purist thing, but I
don't know.
I feel like I'm a basketball purist, and I think that I did. Probably because I just like soccer. I think it'd be so.
No, and I think it's a we talk about fan viewership and just with the point about fouling. That's more of a fan
I
thing.
Think casuals would love. I think casuals would fucking love that. Oh my God! Everyone at the bar, like, you don't really pay attention to the game. Everyone's like, "It's going OT. It's going OT." Everyone's like, "All right, we gotta watch this. We gotta." I think they would. Oh my God! Let me just stop before we go too long with this shit, because I would sign me the fuck up, bro.
Even though the Knicks series with the Pacers is one game away from ending,
we could see the
impossible. But there is a future ticket,
absolutely,
that Manny has with the Indiana Pacers. He's got at plus 3,487. He's got the Indiana Pacers to win the championship. Carlos Alcaraz to go back-to-back.
Come on. Carlito!
At Roland Garros.
We played this morning.
And he has the Edmonton Oilers to upset
Run that shit back.
The Panthers and stop the repeat for the Florida Panthers. Plus 3,487 odds. I enjoy this.
I do. I love it. I will say, just as a disclaimer, I did also place this same ticket with the Knicks substituted for the Pacers. But that's okay. That ticket was wild because the odds for the Knicks to win was out of pocket. But I will say about this. Don't you feel there's like some like Indiana Hoosiers, like, you know how I mentioned like the devil magic with the Chiefs? Like, I feel like there's some devil magic with the Pacers. Balls are bouncing off the back of the rim, going 40 feet in the air and dropping in perfectly into the basket. You know what I'm saying? Celtics are out the way. Maybe we can get another path to the finals if we really are the East Conference. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's just like, it's the Hoosier state. I feel like there's some weird things going on out there. Also, I feel like, I don't know. Are you like? Do you feel like OKC winning the finals would be right? Like, even as much as I love basketball.
Well, it brings up the question. We were both kind of quietly hating.
Yeah, like
on
I'm just
kind of
like, no. I'm just kind of like, no.
So that's why it raises the question, like, if it's not the Thunder, who do you want it to be? Now, obviously, it's a little bit tougher to ask that question with the Knicks being down 3-1. But the only other option would be the Pacers if the Knicks don't win Game 5.
Yeah.
So for everybody that looks at the betting odds and sees that the Oklahoma City Thunder are minus 460
I think that's ridiculous.
to win the finals.
I think that's absolutely ridiculous because this should be 2-2 right now. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's insane, and I think that the Nuggets could have got him out of here too. I think that's insane.
Indiana Pacers to beat the Oklahoma City is plus 550 when the Indiana Pacers just straight to win the finals is plus 500.
All right, we got a good price. Thank God we placed it last night. But yeah, I'm not really trying to hate on OKC. They're a great team, like phenomenal. When we talk about the series more, I'll talk about how much I love OKC and what they do. Rick Carlisle has done this before. That's all I'm gonna say. With the Mavs, pulled the impossible off. The odds are probably worse when Rick Carlisle did it with the Mavs. If Rick Carlisle does this with the Pacers, he puts himself. I don't want to say he puts himself on Mount Rushmore, but he puts himself. He's up there, coach-wise. He might be top 10 if he does this. I really think it happens, bro. I don't feel like the season's. Not OKC, man. Not right now. You know.
I would like to see at least a good fight.
Oh, it's gonna be
minus 460 is.
It's gonna be insane.
Crazy.
I don't think because also the contrast of styles, like a team that great defensively, the team that plays that fast, the way they play offensively. Both these teams' fan bases. I mean, just look at their home games. You know what I'm saying? Especially it being Indiana as well. I think the NBA has a good chance to do some great marketing. I don't know if they will. But there should be some good storytelling about basketball origins and, these two fan bases. And obviously OKC being back to the finals. They've only been in a franchise for 17 years. I hope the NBA does it right. I don't think they will. But for me, I'm super excited if that's the matchup. Super, super, super excited.
The Florida Panthers head to Carolina for Game 5 to close out the Hurricanes in a -115 money line for the Panthers.
They got on the board. They got on the fucking board.
Panthers, crazy, are +100 as the Oilers are +115 to hoist the cup. I would like to see the Oilers get it done.
What you're saying is dead even.
Essentially.
I love my bet.
Look, the Panthers had their fun last year. It's fine. You got it last year.
They should have choked.
I'm eager to see what this rematch looks like. Again, we still got to get there, but I'm eager to see what this rematch looks like. And the fact that we'll get to see Edmonton back in a position where we saw the clips when they lost and what the locker room looked like when they lost to the Florida Panthers. And a lot of those guys in the locker room saying, it's fine. We're going to be back here. But then you think about it, and it's a long offseason. And then it's a long 82-game season, and you still got to get through the playoffs. But now, you're not only one game away from getting back there, you're one game away from potentially playing that same team. I just think the blood is going to be a little bit different.
It is.
The effort's going to be a little bit different. We're not losing to these motherfuckers again.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what the wave that I want to ride.
Absolutely.
And why I want to take the Oilers is if this matchup is as true as we think it's going to line up to be, why do you not want to just go root for the Oilers and just root for them and bet them to not lose to the same damn team in the Cup final again?
Yeah, we got a hungry dogs run faster situation going on here. And I just feel like I don't know what I don't want to say what makes Florida great because I watched them. I don't understand what's great, but I feel like when's the last time we saw a hockey team go back to back?
Probably the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, fuck me. I forgot about them. Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of comparable teams-wise. I mean, the Lightning were just complete as fuck. Yeah, it probably was them. All right, so maybe they are in that ilk. I just don't. Not versus McDavid, bro. I don't think McDavid's going to be that guy. It's one of them all-time greats that couldn't get over the hump. I don't think that's him, bro. I think he gets back. The motherfuckers always came back from 3-0. And I don't know too much about hockey, but Hyman, they said he could play in the finals or whatever, but I'm surprised. I was kind of shocked to see the odds still that even, like, without possibly having Hyman or Hyman being, having a playing with a broken wrist, but gonna have a fucking rod in his shit. Still saying it's dead even. And on ice, it's dead even. We can get back. I love the Oilers.
That's
bro.
what it says.
I just pray to God. They won 4-1 last night, and so it seems like they're sitting pretty, but after Robinson scored that goal, like, it got, to me, it was real scary when it was 1-1. Like, I feel like that series could have completely changed, and the Stars are at the crib. Next game, it's hockey. You know what I'm saying? It's hockey. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not as ready to put this as the finals matchup as I am with the basketball one. The Panthers are gonna be in there. The Hurricanes got one. Could it happen? I don't think it's even possible. All right, I don't think it's. But the Oilers series, I'm still a little bit scared of. I don't know why, but just this puck on ice shit.
The hypothetical for a Oilers-Panthers Stanley Cup has the Oilers as the series and Stanley Cup winner at -104 with the Panthers at -115.
Yeah,
it's a pick'em.
Oh my god,
okay, it's a pick'em.
I signed myself up for a nice little sweat. I can't lie. Can we check real quick? Can we see Carlito Roland Garros odds? Like, is he flirting with 200s after he hopefully won today? If I check this and see he lost today, no, so he's still like -100.
-124.
Because we got
in Paris.
There's still a lot of clay demons out there.
Yeah. All right. Last thing we got to touch on. Well, two more quick things we got to touch on. This NFL Futures tab. And where was it? Future Specials. K. Adams NFL Future Specials 2025-2026. We really liked one of these, actually. And that's the Killer Bees.
Yeah,
the Bills, the Bengals, the Broncos, and the Buccaneers each to make the playoffs. +600. Do you like the value? Do you agree with the value? 4 teams to make the playoffs plus 600.
So like this one definitely caught my eye. But now that I'm like looking at the ticket, right? All right. So the Bills I'm penciling in. Broncos, you want to pencil them in?
Well, you assume that they're probably not going to win the division, but
Exactly.
they get a wild card.
Okay, so we can pencil them in, but that's still dicey. The Bengals.
You got to hope they get a wild card. Does Burrow have a defense? No.
Am I gonna have a premier defensive end now? I mean, my defense was already fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And I might not have Trey. Did they have Trey yet? Did they lock him down? Is he still?
I haven't seen shit on it.
So I do kind of like it, but plus 600 is kind of crazy. I feel like.
You think it should be more?
Yeah. I mean, I'm dealing with 2 guaranteed. I mean, you could even argue 3.
I would say the
wildcard
Bucs
teams.
are winning that division. You think the Falcons have shit to say about it?
Possibly. I think it's still the Bucs division to lose, but I mean the Falcons have
1,000% the Bucs division to lose.
the Falcons are trending up though.
But we can
would
say
you not say the Falcons are trending up?
Falcons are trending up, yeah. But
What?
I don't think they're trending up high enough to knock off the Bucs for this division. Because I'm like, Falcons can still make the playoffs if they want to. Wild card, I don't give a fuck. But I think the Bucs win the division.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that the Bills win the division.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the Broncos find a way to get in the wild card, and then it's just if the Bengals have a defense. We saw what Joe Burrow did last year. Joe Burrow can play his offense, can be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Statistically, should have gotten MVP last year, but he didn't have a defense.
This guy. What changes? I can't. Yeah, I don't know if I can make this bet, Cat 600. I don't know if I can do it, and I think I'm gonna regret saying this because I feel like I think all these teams might find a way to make the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest. The Bang, like Joey B missing the playoffs 2 years in a row doesn't sound right. Getting 10. I can't do it for 600 though. I can see if you could do it though. Okay, you can't.
Real quick, can you do this one? Around the horns, Bills, Texans, and Rams to each win their divisions plus 800.
No, I can't. I can't take the Rams in the division. No, not with CMC coming back. Yeah, I think people are. I like the Rams too. Like I've been all over Matt Stafford on this podcast for a while. Love the Rams.
Devontae and Puka.
Oh, I love them. Oh my God. I just I think we're kind of forgetting about the 49ers a little bit here. No, like CMC's gonna be back. They got you.
Sam Darnold's got Cooper Kupp in Seattle.
I think there's a little. I think the Rams are still gonna be good. I think they're gonna be. I think the division's gonna be close, but I think the 49ers might have something to say about that. What's up with I'm not missing nothing on Nicky B, right? We still got Bosa's still cool because he had that injury. We all good over there with that. I'm pretty sure Greenlaw comes back this year off the Achilles problem. So I'm not ready to write that. Yeah, I can't write them off.
All right, and lastly, we're gonna tap into the MLB future that I have. I want to just double check what the Rangers actually won last night, which was great.
That was big. They need to start hitting the fucking ball. What's up with the Dolis? Like, can we get some balls?
Valdi left early in that game with a bicep injury, I believe.
That's always good. It's always good to see.
But a good win for the Rangers as we look at this MLB division future parlay where, here we go. MLB division future parlay checking in. The Tigers to win the division, the Phillies to win the division, the Cubs to win the division, Rangers to win the division, and the Yankees to win the division.
Insane, 'cause it's
right
really
now,
gonna be the Rangers.
you have 4 of 5 that are in first place of their respective divisions.
And honestly, through 50 games, 50-something games, 60 games, all those teams should win the division.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think the only one that is like worrisome is the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a competitive sweat.
I mean, look at the
you
Mets
would
losing to the
assume.
White Sox again, those motherfuckers. So, yeah, they're not going to win the division.
I just think,
So what's going on down yonder, down Texas?
will they sell? 4.5 games back
I don't think they're going to be able to. I'm going to be honest, bro.
at almost the 60-game mark.
I love the Mariners.
The Mariners are...
I've been loving the Mariners for a while. You got Logan up there. You got Freddie
And
up there.
currently the Astros are playing the Athletics, so good for you guys.
But even like that division is difficult, bro.
Look, the Rangers just had a tough week last week. They got swept by the Yankees, and that was just a bad time because the Rangers were like 1.5 games back at that time. And then got swept.
I'm being too.
So like it was just a bad time where like they were competing to get back on top of that division because they did hold a division lead for a good week or two, and then they get the Yankees in a time where they're trying to compete to get back on top of the division, and they lose all 3 to the Yankees in New York.
So says 3-7 our last 10.
Yeah, so not really great in that sense. And then it's just going to be a fun sweat for the Phillies because they are competing with the Mets. The Phillies were plus 200 to win the division.
Insane.
The Mets were the favorite.
And I understand that part.
And then, you know, the Tigers are just the Tigers for me are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I loved that pick. I thought they were going to do that leading into the beginning of the season. And then, like, lastly, the other one I want to shout out is, like, the favorite in their division in the NL Central is the Cubs. They were the favorite. There's zero chance that I believe that the Cubs like just find a way to sell this. I think the Cubs can single-handedly, we can stamp it at the end of May. The Cubs will win the Central. And I'm fine with that. Everybody else, I was a little worried about the Yankees.
Stamp it?
I'm stamping it.
I like them. I think everyone's in a good place. That Rangers one does scare.
And then it's also just hilarious to look at the American League East, where the Yankees were dealing with injuries. And you got 4 of the 5 in their starting rotation that have just balled the fuck out in the month of May. And a team where there was thoughts about the Red Sox taking the division. Well, they're 8.5 games back. There was thoughts about the Orioles. Well, they're young enough. They've been competing. It should be their division. Well, they're 15 games back. The Yankees, that was more of a homer bet, fan bet. But it seems like that might have been the right play. I also didn't see myself taking any other team in the AL East but the Yankees, even if I was dead wrong.
Right.
But it is fun to be past Memorial Day weekend, and
can we see this Rangers schedule?
We look at, the possibility of what this could look like. Let's go look at the Rangers schedule and see what the month of June looks like for the Texas Rangers. So we head to the month of June for the Texas Rangers for this division future parlay. You got the Rays in there on the road. You got the Nationals and the Twins. And then back home in the middle of the month for the White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. You sprinkle in the Pirates in there with Baltimore twice and then Seattle in there. And that kind of ends your month of June. This is actually a very good looking.
No, so I was gonna say this is good. They have to get through this road stretch. How many games is it? 3, 6, 9. No more than 4 losses. It sounds insane, but like on the road like this is tough. Minnesota's gonna be a tough series. Tampa Bay's probably gonna be a tough series, and then Washington, scrappy. They could get one. If you come out of this with like 3 losses or better, outstanding. Because I don't know what the rest of the
because then you're going back home.
Exactly. Then you play
Sox.
Chicago at home. Kansas City at home is gonna be tough, but you're at home.
You better go sweep the Pirates.
Pirates, you should be able to go get some games over there, at least 2 games. Baltimore should be able to get 2 games. That's gonna be tough.
Seattle's gonna be tough at the end of the month.
You have we'll tap back in July. But they got an ESPN game on there versus San Diego. Then they got the Fox game versus Houston. It's gonna get sweaty. It's gonna be the Rangers. I think the Cardinals might have something to say. I think the Cubs are gonna end up winning the division. The Mets are gonna have something to say. I think the Phillies are gonna win the division. I think the Twins might end up getting up there with the Tigers, have something to say, but I think they win the division. This one, I think it's gonna come down to the final weekend with the Rangers. I mean, all teams are within 3 games, basically. You know what I'm saying? I know it's 4.5, but it's gonna be one of those. That's a good one to sign up for 2 G's. You know what I'm saying? We'll take that. Hopefully. I mean, it's Memorial Day. You know how baseball is, but I just couldn't see it anyone but the Rangers.
I'm also just happy at
barring injury or something.
What it looks like now. I mean, there was a $15 bet that this morning was offering me a $61 cash out.
Fuck FanDuel.
I mean, I'm not taking that because this is so much fun of a sweat. But like just to see that, like they know we're trending upwards. We're on the up and up. I mean, that's what is that a 3x? Is that 4x? It's 4x.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, we're already on the right foot here at the end of May. We'll keep tapping back into that MLB future lay as the season progresses. That's what we got for you guys today. As the race to 700 is taking a break.
God damn it.
But we have more fun games on the horizon.
I'm placing
Stay
something
tuned
tonight.
for those.
Just for the fuck of it. I promise you. I'm just going to do
Placing a 400 just for the fuck of it.
Yeah, just for the fuck of it.
If you watch this on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, comment, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Apple Podcasts and Spotify listeners, if you tuned in all the way to the end of the show, scroll to the bottom, drop those 5-star ratings. They do help us out a long, long way. We will see you very soon as the Knicks try to make a 3-1 comeback. Don't call it a fucking comeback.
I kind of hope we do a show this weekend. The Knicks are about to force a Game 7.
Force a Game 7 is on the horizon. You just have to get back to New York. But first, you got to go to New York, get off the plane, kick some ass in MSG. And what did Pat McAfee say to Ben Stiller and Spike Lee and Timothy Chalamet? He said, let's send these sons of bitches back to New York with their ears ringing. Well, how about McAfee come to MSG and we send his ass back to Indiana and his sons of bitches back to Indiana with their ears ringing. That's where the energy is. That's where the vibes are. Let's stay positive, New York fans, and let's get to Game fucking 6. It's not done.
I like that energy.
It's not done.
I like that energy.
It's not done. We'll see you guys very soon. Game 6, I'm rooting for you. Alex Jacobs, Manny, Ruffin, all day bets. We're fired the fuck up.
We're not down and out.
We're not down and out. The fat lady ain't singing. I can't hear her.
I like that. Okay.